Hi, this is RHM Rachel Miller for RHM movie and TV reviews. I'm sorry, I'm just recently adding TV reviews because I did make some of my playlists about or TV shows public, so I feel like I should be doing TV reviews. The first two shows I'll be reviewing are shows that have been long off the air. My two favorite shows, honestly, Once Upon a Time and Shadowhunters. Once Upon a Time first, because it premiered first and ended first. Once Upon a Time is basically alternate versions of fairy tales. The first two seasons did not really only focus on Snow White. There was the main fairy tales. Snow White, Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel. Sorry. And there was Alice in Wonderland, but it was really Mad Hatter's story. And one of the actor who actually played the Mad Hatter on the show was Sebastian Stan. Yes, the guy who eventually went on to play Bucky Barnes / Winter Soldier in the MCU. He did Once Upon a Time first, and then he went on to do the MCU. Also, in the first season, Jamie Dornan played the Huntsman / Sheriff Graham, or however you want to put it. Sheriff Graham / the Huntsman, as I said, whichever way. Because the show introduced him to American audiences. And you watch any of the movies that he's done, shows or movies he's done after this, I would suggest watching 50 Shades of Grey. I have reviewed the 50 Shades of Grey series because it is a movie series based on a book series. So please check out that video. And then the third season, two different storylines went on that season. First half of the season was Peter Pan, which I loved the twist. They made Peter Pan the bad guy. It was really good. And Robert Kay, who played Peter Pan, did an excellent job. You might actually see him in a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I forgot which one. I think it's the fourth movie he's in, where he does play a pirate. And Lee Arenberg is also part of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but he was only in the first three movies, and he was a dwarf on Once Upon a Time. He played Grumpy, or his cursed name was Leon, which I found interesting. And then the second half of the third season there was a nod to Rapunzel, but mainly focused on a story Disney hasn't even done yet, and that was The Wizard of Oz. And their take on it was very good. Rebecca Mayer, I find it interesting that she did play the Wicked Witch of the West, Zelina, because she was in the movie, the American Girl doll movie Samantha, and if you watch very closely, her character in that movie hands off the book Wizard of Oz, and it just so happens after that, a couple of years later, she ended up playing the Wicked Witch of the West. Now, the fourth season I do find very interesting. That season was divided up into two parts very well. The first half was Frozen, because the movie had done so well at the box office that year or the previous year that the people behind Once Upon a Time decided to take that Disney princess on, which I liked the actors they cast in that part of the fourth season, the 4A, if you will. Then, second half of the season is more of the villains. You get a taste of Little Mermaid in the third season. You get another taste of Little Mermaid in the fourth season. Second half of fourth season. But the second half is focused on Ursula's origin story for the show. Not for the movie, though I would like to see a movie origin story for Ursula. I doubt that'll happen in the near future. And then the fifth season, as you know, you had King Arthur. You had Merlin for the first half of the season. Second half of the season, it was the underworld. You were introduced to Hades, played by Greg Erman, who had previously worked on Ally McBeal. That's what I remember him from, and the fact that he did a couple of guest spots on NCIS. But he played Hades very well. He played the villainy of Hades very well. If you want to watch something that's comedic Hades, I do suggest you watch the original anime movie, as well as Disney Channel's Descendants 3. Because there you get the comedic side of Hades instead of the plain villainy of the character. And, of course, sixth season was, I admit, was very confusing. Same thing with seventh season. But it showed off what could be. They had the Black Fairy in the sixth season. And the seventh season was the soft reboot of the entire show. Of course, the main cast, you've probably seen things before they did the show. Jennifer Goodwin, who played Snow White, Mary Margaret, was in Walk the Line, which I did review in my last video because it is a Reese Witherspoon movie. She was also in Mona Lisa Smile. That was before Walk the Line. But she was also in Something Borrowed, He's Just Not That Into You, which both movies she did very well. And actually, her character in Something Borrowed was named Rachel. Rachel, I like that movie for my own personal reasons, of course. But the show, she did 2 shows after Once Upon a Time ended, and that was Why Women Kill and Pivoting. Why Women Kill is interesting, but I don't know if you want to watch it. I just watched it. As I said, I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't something I would watch the second season for, even though that was a whole nother storyline. I mean, it was playing 3 stories back to back to back, which was it was confusing, I admit. But since then, she's done her Disney movies. Jennifer Goodwin is the voice of Judy Hopps in the Zootopia movies, 1 and 2. And her husband, who she met on the set of Once Upon a Time, Josh Dallas, is also in that movie. He does a cameo in both Zootopia and Zootopia 2 as the voice of a frantic pig, which I don't understand why give him that voice. Why cast him as that role? But a lot of people know him from the first Thor movie where he played the character that was recast. Because since he was so busy with Once Upon a Time, the character was recast, and Marvel got their first choice to play the character. That was Zachary Levi. And Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma Swan, You may not know this, but she was on How I Met Your Mother and House before she was cast in Once Upon a Time. And the only movie I can think of she did beforehand was Star Trek. The Star Trek where Chris Pine played Captain Kirk. Or actually it's just James Kirk in that movie. Really. He doesn't become captain until the end of that movie, I believe. Robert Carlyle, who plays Rumpelstiltskin / Mr. Gold. Excuse me. A lot of people know him because he's played the villain in one Bond movie. He played the villain. That was World Is Not Enough. He also did, and I hate to mention this movie because I've never seen it. I do not even want to see that movie. It is called The Full Monty. He's also in Trainspotting with Ewan McGregor. Lana Parrilla, who plays the evil queen / Regina Mills on the show. A lot of people don't know this, but she was on Spin City before she got to be the evil queen, Regina Mills. And she only did the 5th season of Spin City, and she was really good at it. I just didn't realize it was her, I think, until the reruns of Spin City started airing on television at that same time. But she has only done, well, she was on the 2nd season of Why Women Kill, and currently she's doing a show called The Rainmaker. I don't know if it got canceled or not, but I know she's on that show. As I said, Rebecca Mayer, who plays Lena, the Wicked Witch of the West. Since she played Selena, she's done guest spots on a couple of shows. One show I know in particular is Hawaii Five-0, and she also guest starred on a CBS show that starred Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. I've heard of the name of the show, but I know it was really good. Well, apparently she was in Iron Man 3. I did not know that. Oh, Papa's House. That was the name of the show. She was also in... I still can't believe I keep on forgetting. She was in Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway. Because those were the two actresses she shared the screen with, along with Stanley Tucci. King Connor Tracy, who played the Blue Fairy / Mother Superior. You guys gotta watch Disney Channel's Descendants movies because she is in it as Belle. Where Emily, I'm not sure how to pronounce the lady who played Belle on the show, her name, but I think she did really well on the show. Kyle O'Donoghue, I know, has done one show after this ended. I don't know what else he's done since Once Upon a Time ended, but the show I know he's done that was only on Disney Plus, it's called The Right Stuff. He played one of those astronauts who ended up going to space. Beverly Elliott, who played Granny, she actually did a Hallmark Christmas movie, and I think she did really well in that show. And of course, other actors who were on the show, like I hope went on to do other shows, like Mika Cox, who was in the last season of the show. She played Tiana / Sabine. I love the character. The cursed name. It's so pretty, so beautiful. She is currently on The Rookie. Her co-stars Jeff Pierre and who played Naveen. Oh, I got that right. I'm checking. I'm sorry, I'm checking something. Oh, Alan Dale, who played King George slash the district attorney on Once Upon a Time, you can watch, before he did this show, he did The OC and Ugly Betty. On The OC, he played a character much like his character on Once Upon a Time, a hated character, but sort of loved too. Don't know why, but still. And he also did guest spots on NCIS, which I do remember. Yeah, Jeff Pierre and the guy who played Geppetto slash Marco both guest starred on 911. But Tony Amendola, the guy who played Marco slash Geppetto, he actually ended up playing a bad guy on the seventh season of 911. I think he did a really good job at playing that villain. Because you gotta hate that. You gotta hate the guy. Because he's that good. Giancarlo Esposito, the actor who played the Magic Mirror. Yeah, he went on to do The Mandalorian and a Prime. Yeah, the Disney Plus show The Mandalorian, which is very good. And if you want to go see the movie The Mandalorian Grogu, I suggest you go see it because I think it is very good. Even though he's not in it, it's still a good movie because he played the bad guy on The Mandalorian. Um, um, the other actors like Elizabeth Mitchell, you may know her from the Santa Claus movies, and she did Santa Claus show. But a lot of people, I think, from what I could tell, as well as with Lana Parrilla, some actors from the show Lost, which the creators of Once Upon a Time wrote, they did not. I'm not sure if they executive produced the show, but I know they wrote for the show. Rose McIver and the guy who played Dr. Whale went on to do a show called iZombie. And I admit I watched that show. I was not too thrilled about it. But Rose McIver is actually currently on her own show with a guy from the first Pitch Perfect movie called Ghosts. It's the US version of the show. And also the actor who played the lad on the show, David Dennis, is actually currently on the new ABC show High Potential, which is very good. I like it. There's not much to say about the other actors who been on the show, except for the guy who was Christoph Scott Michael Foster. He, I know, was on Greek and Melissa and Joey before he did Once Upon a Time, or Melissa and Joey was after he had done Once Upon a Time. He played Christoph on Once Upon a Time. And I think he did a pretty good job, but I think, but this is just my opinion, I like the cast from the anime movie better than Once Upon a Time cast. No offense to the actors who played the characters Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff on Once Upon a Time. I like the way you guys handled the characters. I just like the anime movie better. And also Daniel Francis, who played Dr. Facilier, is actually currently, I don't know, he renewed his contract for the show Bridgerton. You can actually see him on the show on the 3rd and 4th season of the show. He plays Lord Marcus Anderson, Lady Danbury's brother. Younger brother, but still brother. Sorry, probably one of her brothers. The other show, which a lot of people, and just so you know, the countdowns I have for Once Upon a Time are very slim, and they are the cutest couples on the show. I would agree up to a point. The last two I would swap. Because I would put Captain Swan, which is Emma and Hook, at number 1. I would put Snow and Charming at number 2, because that's just me. And the show did very well when it was on. And I also have the saddest moments on the show, which, yeah, all those, I agree with all the moments from the show. Those are moments on the show where you do get emotional or you cry. Especially, spoiler warning, spoiler alert, the end of the show, the last scene where Regina is giving her speech. It makes you emotional for the show. And I think the only other countdown I have on there for Once Upon a Time is top 10 Captain Swan moments, which are good. Now the other show, as I said, I love, I watch it almost on a daily basis because I like the show that much. And because it is Pride Month, it makes so much sense that I'm talking about Shadowhunters. Because the main couple from Shadowhunters is a gay couple. It's Madness Bane and Alexander Gideon Lightwood. This show is one of the best shows on air, as far as I'm concerned. Is, as I mentioned it, I talked about movies based on books. because only the first book was made into a movie, where the show did so much better than the movie ever could. I'm okay with the slight differences between the book and the books and the show. And of course, the actors who've been on there have done amazing things. For Captain America, I know what she did before the show, but I know what she did after the show, and that was Arrow, and she played Stephen Arnell's on-screen daughter on that show, and I thought that was very cool because I really liked watching the crossover episodes which she was on. It was very cool. Dominic Sherwood, before he did Shadowhunters, he was a vampire in Vampire Academy. And as I said, I mentioned that in movies based on books video. I do suggest you watch my other videos, please. Like those videos and subscribe to my channel, please. And I don't know about other actors besides RHM Jr. I don't know what they've done before or after the show was on. But with RHM Jr., I know before the show he had done another show called Glee, where he was mainly a dancer. And a current show he's on is Grey's Anatomy. I probably didn't spell it right when I wrote it down. And like most fans, I did I know the YouTube channel Miss Mojo does their own verses. And I have decided to do my own verses because I have asked them to do this verses a couple of times. They still have yet to do it. Is Captain Swan, which is Emma and Hook, versus Malik, which is Madness, Bane, and Alec Lightwood. Which couple is more powerful? Now, here are my suggestion for rounds. Trope. Captain Swan is the enemies to lovers trope. Malik is the forbidden love trope. Because technically they're not supposed to be together because Madness is a downworlder. He's a warlock. And Alec Lightwood is a Shadowhunter. And he's not supposed, given his family history, he's not supposed to like downworlders. Or, as Meliar tells Isabel Lightwood, her family is known for hating downworlders. And it's very clear from the episode 13, season 1, episode 13, that Alec's parents don't really like the fact that Alec is with Madness, or the fact that they know he's a bit of a, I don't know, I don't want to say a bad word on YouTube, but I might as well. Man whore. He's known for sleeping around. He's had numerous relationships before he met Alec. And I love the jealousy with both couples. But once upon a time with Captain Swan, it was brought up twice. First, in the season 3 finale, where you have to have Emma flirt with past Hook, and she smiles. With current Hook, you're jealous. And so later in season 6, Oh, sorry, season 5 is what went. Yeah, season 5B. She brings up the jealousy again, but this time it's at that Hook is, or Killian, whatever you want to call him, maybe a little jealous of Emma's friendship with August slash Pinocchio. Not knowing that, oh wait, they did go on 1 or 2 dates. It didn't mean anything to her. But they're just friends now. And it is sad when you see his reaction, August's reaction to Snow White, Mary Margaret, when she does tell him Emma came back with Neil in season 2. So, and when the jealousy thing comes up in season, the jealousy for Malik is very easy. It's the fact that Manus is jealous of Andrew Underhill, a fellow Shadowhunter, and there's a reason for it too. It's the fact that Underhill is a fellow Shadowhunter, but he's also gay, which he reveals to Alec in episode 5. And of course, Alec thinks it's funny that Manus is jealous. And another one, and I would say right now, you take a chance on who would win this. Another round I would suggest is trust. Which couple trusts each other more? And it comes up with both Captain Swan and Malik. With Captain Swan, it's not trusting to actually start a relationship, and not trusting. Emma doesn't trust Hook to start a relationship because she has lost men she's loved in the past, and she's also, there is also another trust issue towards the end of their story, and it's along the lines of Killian Hook does not trust Emma with his past, because he did something so horrible that he's afraid that her parents would never be able to forgive him for what he did to David, Emma's father's dad. With Manus and Alec, it is a trust issue. It's not trusting each other with the fact that, they didn't do what they said they were doing. They didn't, apparently Alec doesn't trust Manus enough to believe that he would not kill another Shadowhunter. And also, Al doesn't trust Manus enough to tell Manus the only reason he was breaking up with him in season 3, end of season 3, was so Manus could get his power back, get his magic back. There's also another one is Alec doesn't. It seems as though, yeah, I agree with Manus. Alec didn't trust Manus enough to tell him the truth about the Soul Sword being not the Clay not having custody of the Soul Sword, or Mortal Cup. Oh yeah, the Mortal Instruments, really. They didn't trust he didn't trust Madness enough to tell him that, which is very sad. Sacrifice is another round I would put in. Is they both sacrifice things for the other one, or both couples. An example is they go to hell for one another with both couples. But Once Upon a Time for Captain Swan, it's going to the underworld. For Shadowhunters, for Malik, it is actually going to a realm of hell. Particularly one realm of hell in particular called Edom. I don't know how to spell it. I suggest you check out the show. It is very good. Both shows are very good. The two other rounds I would go with is True Love. Why True Love doesn't really work on either show for either couple. For Once Upon a Time, we don't know it until towards the end, I'm trying till the end of the episode, Broken Heart, as well as Swan Song. You find out why the True Love's kiss didn't work for them in the beginning. It turns out the fact that Hook himself was a Dark One as well. That's why True Love's kiss doesn't work. But with Madness and Alec is clear, and I do suggest you check out my playlist for my favorite shows countdowns. The reason Malik's True Love kiss doesn't really work is because Shadowhunter, Parabatai trumps True Love, I guess. So, and although Madness does try to wake Alec up with True Love's kiss, it just doesn't work. And the last round I would do is happy endings. Emmett, Hook, Killian, whatever you want to call him. Well, both couples end up getting married, but the engagement, it's not engagement, it's the proposals are very sweet. The weddings are sweet. Although with Captain Swan, their wedding is part of the musical episode Once Upon a Time. It's very good. I loved it. That is the only one that was not that confusing. And with Madness and Alec, their wedding was sort of the bookend to the show. And what happens after the wedding, after the show technically ends, the end, or Madness and Alec is they both get promotions. Madness, he becomes the High Warlock of Alicante, and Alec becomes the Inquisitor, which is the highest ranking for Shadowhunters. With Emma and Hook, Killian, is the fact that they end up having a child together, a baby girl named Hope, which I loved. In my next episode, I will try and talk about other shows that have come and gone, or I will talk about the movies that I currently own. I will try and talk about other Disney movies I haven't talked about before. Like all the other Disney movies I have that I haven't talked about before. And that's it. This is RHM, Rachel Miller, signing off for RHM Movie and TV Reviews.